Supersize your business or you'll never hear the end of it. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom for today. For the rest of this month, we'll do ending idioms. Idioms that have with endings since we're coming up to the end of the year. Never hear the end of it. Now, yesterday was Christmas here in the United States, well, everywhere for the most part, but yesterday was Christmas. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I used to dread the old family get-together because you never knew what story from your childhood or what embarrassing moment or what thing you did as a kid was going to come up over and over and over again, and you would never hear the end of it. Someday, if we ever meet in person, ask me the pig egg story, and I will let you in on that one. I heard it for years and years and years at every family gathering, that or several other stories about myself whenever a certain topic would come up. Unfortunately, yesterday we had my 10-month-old granddaughter with us for our family celebration, and mostly it was stories about when the kids were little, and so the happy, fun stories came up, not any embarrassing or shameful or irritating or stories that we don't want to hear over and over and over again. So will you never hear the end of it or not ever hear the end of it? They're related idioms. Couldn't really find a history on them in terms of where they came. Probably because people have always been telling us, I told you so, or then been repeating stories. Or I had a boss once who told the same joke every other staff meeting. Not kidding. Every other staff meeting he would tell the same joke. And I'm not going to say the joke because it makes me cringe, but repeated stories are really powerful when used properly, right? With our business and helping to grow our business and build relationships and everything else. But if they're properly repeated and if they're stories that make us feel good, right, or help us solve a problem. But if there's stories about mistakes or warnings that we're going to make mistakes, or if they're incessant reminders of something we don't necessarily want to be reminded of, like when we had that terrible haircut or that terrible perm from our youth, those are things we'd like to hear the end of. Different type of people have different communication styles. Some people are braggarts and egotistical, and we don't want to hear them talking about themselves all the time. It's one thing to promote your business, let others tell the story of your business and how awesome you are, versus you bragging and coming off in an insincere, egotistical way. I'd love to hear people's testimonies and their success stories about how their businesses are doing, especially when it's from the person that they've helped perspective. It's a great way to build customers and build your business. And we love to hear those stories. I love to hear people's different stories and testimonials all the time. But if it's a repeated story or a repeated joke or a repeated warning or an embarrassing or shameful thing, who wants to hear those all the time? So I think the thing to remember about stories and telling stories is your timing. Know when to tell a story, know when not to tell a story, know which is the right story to tell. And we don't always know, right? Sometimes we just throw the mud up against the wall thinking we have the right story and it doesn't hit home. But we learn our lesson, and next time we either fix our timing or our story or our delivery or how we phrase it. The challenge with repeated stories, and I have a mentor and friend, Russell Brunson is his name, and I love Russell Brunson, and he says you'll get tired of telling your own stories before people get tired of hearing them. Now, I will contend that as long as you're putting yourself and your stories in front of new people, that is 100% true. But if you are continuing to tell the same stories to your same repeat customers, long-time, lifelong customers, they start to tune those out. I got to the point where every time I listened to Russell, if I caught him beginning one of his traditional stories, his potato gun story, I still can't listen to that again. If I catch him telling that, even if he's tweaked and changed and improved that story, I've already tuned out as soon as he starts telling that story. So we want to be careful that we're not using our repeated stories with the same audience, if that makes sense. At least that's been my experience. And maybe it doesn't bother other people, but it's always been one to me. I also am the type person that doesn't read the same book over and over and over again. There are very few books or movies I will expose myself to over and over again because I remember them. And so I don't need to have the exact same message, the exact same story. But I suppose a lot of people need the repetition. I need it delivered in different ways. I need the message communicated in different ways. So share in the comments below something, or maybe a story like my pig egg story that you don't really want to hear anymore, or something from a work situation or growing and supersizing your business that you'd be happy to never hear the end of. The reason I started this was with supersize your business or you'll never hear the end of it, is a lot of times when we tell people or when we're doing something or going after a goal, people will in the beginning make fun of us and kind of knock us down and act like we couldn't possibly do something. And then as we start to achieve our goals and objectives and grow that business and supersize that business and create what we want to see in the world, people start to believe. And I think that more of us need to set the example and show people that we can achieve our dreams, and that means that they can achieve theirs as well. So make it a positive, never hear the end of it, by doing what you say you're going to do. That's it. That's our message for today. Have an awesome day after Christmas. I am hanging out with my 10-month-old granddaughter and just going to chill while everybody else goes snowboarding. And I hope to see you tomorrow, where we will do another end-related or ending-related idiom. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Diane.